Welcome to the
YHELPful Podcast,
where we bridge the gap between teens and adults, discussing everyday life and current events.
Hey everyone, we're back again with another episode of the YHELPful Podcast. My name is William Battle.
My name is Sarah Miles.
And we're your hosts for today's episode.
Alright, so the topic for today is financial literacy. We're going to look at financial literacy, what it means, why it's important for you to have it, and how you can implement it into your daily life. So just for starters, when you hear financial literacy, you think of the course that you might have taken in high school. But me personally, when I think of FineLit or just financial freedom, I don't think we were taught that enough in school. We were taught the real basics of financial literacy, like how to write a check and stuff like that. But I definitely don't think that school prepares you for the real financial aspects, of life and how to navigate.
See, that's interesting from my standpoint, though, because being homeschooled, my mom actually handpicked the financial literacy curriculum and materials that I was learning from. So, I didn't have the same experience to where the quality wasn't the best, because we got into investing, into saving, into budgeting, into 401ks, into
all that. Good.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's the stuff that needs to be mainstream.
Yeah.
But it's really, and it wasn't even easy for my mom to find, in terms of that curriculum. I think that's the only class she taught me in high school.
Oh wow!
Everything else was just was online. A lot of it was online.
Yeah,
but, financial literacy though. That's a big class.
I took that in 10th grade. I was not paying attention to half the stuff in school in 10th grade. I was worried about parties and stuff. I think financial literacy is something you should be taught throughout your high school career, even rolling into college. Why don't we have FineLit courses in college? Someone explain that to me. But I really had a hard time with just struggling now with financial literacy. I barely remember how to write a check. Like I said, that's probably the only thing I remember from that course. But that's only because the real stuff they teach you, about saving and investing, even getting into the stock market, stuff like that. I think they teach you how to do the basics, but they do not set the stepping stones to be financially free. And that's the ultimate goal here. Who doesn't want to be financially free?
Yeah.
So dealing with finances in general as a young adult, I personally still struggle with that. Again, I'm 21, so in terms of financial advice, I don't got too much of that. But in terms of just sharing my experiences and being able to just find that common ground of how can we start and how can we do better as a community to get to our financial goals, that's what we're here for, right? So when it comes to managing money and stuff like that, it's a huge thing for me, just because I am a business owner. I am an independent stylist. So when it comes to making money, figuring out when it's coming in, when it's coming out, that's a big thing. That's a big thing that I'm still working on. So yeah, I just think we can all agree on what steps can be made to achieve our personal financial goals, keyword personal, just because everybody's financial journey is different. So yeah.
So let's get down to basically what is financial literacy. And financial literacy is personal finance management, basically. And there are 4 key pillars to financial literacy. That's debt, budget, save, and invest. Now there's good debt and there's bad debt. So we're going to get to that one. Good debt is the kind that builds your credit. So that would be for longer term, things that you need, like a car or college loans even. That can be bad debt too if you don't do it right, but it can also be good. So you have to watch out for that. But what that can do though in the long run, it can allow you to get a house. It can allow you to make those bigger purchases that you would otherwise wouldn't be able to make by yourself. So that isn't all bad. And then also, the second is budget. So budgeting is really key. And I think it's something that requires a lot of discipline as well. it doesn't come easy. It doesn't come without its own pain and its own struggles. I mean, I've been in a situation to where I'm like, I'm gonna budget. I'm gonna make sure I have a certain amount, in
and
my.
then forget about the next
and then
day.
I'm like, nah, I just need these new AirPods.
Right,
I'm just gonna buy it right now.
Yeah.
I just can't help it. But I mean, I feel like over time you get better at that. You get better, and you realize that everything isn't the end of the world. Like just because one of your friends shows up with a new iPhone doesn't mean you have to buy one too.
Right.
It's okay. They all call people. They all run the same
We're gonna make
thing.
new ones next year.
Exactly.
By the new release.
Exactly.
I think budgeting is super big. Like you already bringing up budgeting and stuff like that. It's definitely not easy. It's something I'm still learning on how to master and stuff myself. So again, that comes with learning what works for you in your financial situation, and how you can reach your personal financial goals. So, for example, just for the fact that we are young and a lot of people are into designer clothes, designer shoes, all the spectacular things and stuff like that. It does not mean you have to follow everybody else and drain your entire savings because of a picture on Instagram that you want to look nice for. So
you're gonna be respected so much more, so much later in life when you stay disciplined, you budgeted, and then at the end of the road, you're the one with the house, with the 6-figure job, with no debt.
Exactly.
That's where everything goes to be.
Yeah.
I feel like, but then also you have to learn to save as well. That's the next pillar of financial literacy. And saving is really a key basic. Like none of this other stuff works if you can't save.
If you can't save,
you have to have an emergency fund too. I feel like a lot of people don't understand that, but it's something, and it needs to be the size that your life allows. So like if you have a car, you need to have an emergency fund that reflects the needs of a car.
Exactly.
So that's like if you need to get your brakes fixed, if your transmission goes, if your engine something goes wrong, you need to have at least $1,500,
right.
$2,000 in the bank that can go to that in case of emergency. Because you can't be on the side of the road with no way to even call for a tow truck because you can't afford it.
Exactly.
So there's only so much paycheck to paycheck that you can do.
And that also comes with, again, like knowing what works for you. You might have a car and you might, have your emergency fund for your car, but the next person might have a car, an apartment, a business. So again, like it might not be such a large amount that you might have to save as me or somebody else or vice versa, whatever the case may be. So I have a couple key tips just to keep in mind when managing your finances and really setting a foundation to financial freedom. So set goals, don't compare, and be realistic. I say be realistic, and that kind of goes hand in hand with like not comparing and stuff like that, and finding what works best for you. Just because, again, everybody's situation is different. When you find your own path, you're more bound to be successful. If you're over here and let's say you're working paycheck to paycheck, but you don't have that much, you have to pay for financially. You say, okay, I'm gonna save $1,000 a month. If I'm, dang, you know what? I need to save $1,000 a month too, and I'm struggling, trying to buy myself a meal, you might have to rethink. Like, you might not need to save that much, you know what I mean?
Like, do 500.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't always have to be, you can treat yourself, and I know you want to talk about that in a little bit too. Like, when you treat yourself, you have to manage it right. You can't overdo it. You don't have to underdo it either. If you want the newest pair of AirPods, put money to the side, maybe every 2 weeks, and then in a month you'll have your new AirPods.
It's not wrong. You just have to prepare for it. You just have to plan for it. It can't be something that you just do on a whim. It has to be something that you do within your budget that won't break the bank.
And that comes with discipline. You need discipline. I think the word, or just the notion of financial freedom, like, I feel like discipline is like right there.
That runs into my 3 tips, actually. My 3 tips, which is stay disciplined, was number 1. The second one was be goal oriented, which is something that we almost already like touched on.
Yeah.
Where it comes to, if you want to go and like make a bigger purchase, you want to go get something, make sure that you have a plan in place. Make sure that you have it works within your budget. That you're not just doing something out of want instead of just doing something within your thinking.
Yeah.
And then the third one I have is be consistent, which is in whatever you do, you gotta be consistent. You gotta do it. Like, I mean, there's a saying actually that I actually live my life by a lot. And let me redo that. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, and the third one is be consistent. That goes with the saying that I've lived with a lot of my life, which is the monotonous nature of success. And I know that sounds dumb to a lot of people, and they're like, I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. That's boring.
Yeah.
But in order to be great, you have to do the same thing again and again and again. And it might get tiresome. It might get annoying. It might be like, why am I doing this? I want to do something different.
Yeah.
But if you want to build wealth, you have to put away money again and again. If you want to be great at a sport, you have to go and you have to work on it. You have to practice again and again. You have to do the same thing.
And I like how you said be consistent, just because with saving specifically, and even budgeting, like you have to be consistent. Like if you want to know what's coming in and what's going out, the only way you're going to be able to keep up with that is through consistency. And I think even having this conversation, I'm kind of coming to this realization of like, it's not that I can't budget, it's not that I can't save. I think it's more so the consistency factor. Definitely for me, because
that's what
it's
a lot
like
of people struggle with.
Exactly. So it's like I might have, good amount of money in the savings, but like you said, cars and things like that. Let's say I need a good chunk of money. Let's say I need $1,000 and I might have like $2,000 in my savings. It starts to feel like a setback, but also remember, money is meant to be spent too. And I don't say that meaning go out and splurge, but money's gonna come and money's gonna go. I have this problem too of like, even when it's something I literally need, I'm still like, I don't know if I want to pull that out the savings, you know what I mean? But you have to be responsible, you have to be diligent, and I like how you said consistency, because it's just so big with like financial freedom. So that is all the time we have for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the YHELPful Podcast on financial literacy, and you were able to take something from it that you can try to use to improve your mental health. And as always, remember to always check out more mental health resources and content at YHELP.com, and follow YHELP on all social media platforms. And then you can check us out on this podcast episode and others on YouTube, any other streaming platform that you use to listen to the podcast.
Let the YHELPful Podcast be your compass to growing up. For more information, follow us at YHELP Now on all social media platforms. And check us out at YHELPnow.com for mental health and life skill resources. Tune into the
YHELPful Podcast!
And we hope to be YHELPful.